What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Rated G podcast. I'm your host, G Terado, and joining me today is a dear friend, fellow artist, creative, and this is her second visit on the podcast. But first, real quick, if you are new here, welcome to the show. On this platform, we like to discuss all things related to art and creativity, whether it ties into our general interests or whatever, and we just share life experiences, especially pursuing the arts full time or even part time because you got a regular job or you're a mother or parent, all the things. So we share a lot of life experiences as an artist and just as a person in general. And sometimes we may get into like pop culture stuff or just like stuff happening around the world. So yeah, if you're into that, please join us by following, subscribing, all that good jazz. Hit all the buttons to help grow the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, same thing, you know the drill. So let's welcome back once again my friend Rhiannon Dawes.
Hello. I'm back.
Yeah. Okay, you know what, real quick, is it Dawes or Dawes?
It's Dawes. Yeah.
Dawes. Okay, so
You
I
made it
said
sound a little more fancy than it is.
No, you know what? I think I said it that way the first time, but in my afterwards, I'm like, I don't know if I said it right, and you just, so okay, so it
Yeah.
is Dawes.
Yes.
Got
Yes.
it. I said Dawes.
Sometimes I have to tell you this story. So I have this joke with my husband, like whenever he makes me put in like food orders for pickup or like reservations, his name is Chase, but I always put his name in as Chaz Dowers. And
Oh,
so I don't know. I don't know why I think it's hilarious.
Dowers.
Um, and so we went to like a really nice steakhouse for dinner a couple weeks ago. And we totally I forgot that I put his name in as Chaz Dowers. So first
Oh,
they couldn't find our reservation.
of course.
And then finally found it by the phone number. But our waiter comes out and he's all, "Hello, Mr. Dowers."
Uh,
And I about did a spit take. Yeah. Anyway.
that's it's funny because like I relate. Like that's why I just even meeting people the first time I just like I've always went by G since childhood. That was a given nickname by my parents, and I don't know if it was like a intuition thing or maybe they like experienced something when they would introduce me to like a friend or whatever. But it's just like since then, whenever teachers or whoever was addressing me by my full name for the first time, they always butchered it. So
Oh
I just
no.
be like, just call me G for short. Like it's easier. But it's like I don't know if that's why my parents did that. So,
I
if
wonder. You'll have
not,
to.
then it's a hilarious coincidence or whatever chance, because that's always been like part of my history is like they butcher my first name and my last name in some
Oh no.
cases. Yeah. And like my first name is Gerald, like Hey Arnold, if you're born in the right generation.
Yes.
It's Gerald, but I've always gotten Gerard, or they would take the liberty and just call me Jerry or
Jerry.
Jer. I got Gerald like a few times. I'm just like,
Oh.
stop. Like I only let my childhood friends call me Gerald. That's just because they know.
Right.
But yeah, when I meet everyone, even like you knew me as G first, but
Yes.
I'm being more laid back about it because I used to always have this joke. Um, when I meet new people, I'm like, yeah, I don't like to tell people my government name, like, at first. Yeah, I get
Yeah, in fact, I think you said that last time we talked. But you messed up because you released a newspaper clip
I know it's out
of
there.
like some project you had done and it had your real name in it. And I was like, oh, I know the secret.
But you know what? I'll say this. I appreciate that you're like you took in that information. Like that just, you saw my post and you looked into it. So thank you for the engagement there.
I see you.
Yeah, I mean honestly, when I was a little more how would my wife describe me again? Uh Abrasive. I used to say something else.
Oh no.
I used to say, I was like, yeah, I don't like to tell people my slave name.
Oh no.
And I've said that like deeper in this right deep. Well, I don't know. South Carolina, I said that once, and people were just like, like I was just being playful and like joking, but everyone kind of like really got quiet at a table. Well, it was at a wedding, and everyone just kind of like,
Oh no. The record screeched to a halt.
yeah, yeah. But anyways, now that we got the name thing out of the way, no. But yeah, it just and then actually going back to it, like the last name too, it's Terado, but people just say Terado or that's like the common, and it's like I get it, but I don't know.
Try to roll the R.
It's funny when like that one that name that last name it will draw out Fast and Furious fans because they'll be like, yo, like Toretto, like Dominic Toretto, and I'm like, I wish because he was badass, but no, it's Toretto. Yeah,
That's
there's actually an artist, a famous artist by is it it's like Katsuya Terada. It's Terada, not Terado. And
mm-hmm.
like his work, I believe it's a male, but I'll say their work is just phenomenal. And it's funny because my oldest sibling, my brother, he's an artist too. Um, very skilled artist, I guess, because he works like in the animation industry and all this.
Oh.
And he sent that book to me for Christmas, and when I opened it, it was like just right at the spine of the book, and I saw like I saw the first four letters. I'm like, oh shit, did my brother just release a book, like an art book? Because like that was he like a lot of the things I'm into is just because of him, right? So
Mm-hmm.
and he loved collecting artist books, and like I have some of those stuff that he would hold on to. So I'm like, oh man, did he like release a book? And I saw his Terado. I'm like, oh man, so fucking close.
Girl, they spelled it wrong.
Yeah, I'm like, what? Like so many like emotions and thoughts were like just going through my head like in like a split second. It was mind-boggling. But anyway, what is new?
So much is new.
Yeah?
Yeah, so
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I haven't really been like
no, no,
keeping up with
I,
everything.
yeah, I get it. I have been like so burnt out on like art content.
Naturally.
Like
Same.
I know my socials have been so neglected lately. Like I'm
Mine
still
too.
doing like commissions and stuff, but my last collection, when did I release that? Was it November maybe?
Was it for the
Of the
you did a
landscapes.
winter? No? Was it a winter collection?
You would think I could remember when I released it. I should. It was landscapes, like abstract landscapes, but
Yeah.
I feel like I released it and then it's like I dropped it in a room full of people and ran away. Like I don't know what happened.
It's like this is my
But
obligation for the year. See ya.
yeah. Yeah, like I don't know. I just got burnt out, I think, on trying to like market it and get everything ready for its release.
Yeah.
And then once it released, it was like my brain was like, okay, you're done.
No,
Um,
I resonate with that too, and I've been like, yeah, I definitely resonate with that, and I've been kind of feeling a similar way just for the, just for this current time because of my whole situation. So I totally get that. Like I've been, I keep an eye on my what do you call it, engagement. I see those numbers when you go on your uh Instagram page and it shows you the engagement for
yeah,
whatever. And yeah, I keep an eye on that, and it's definitely just dropping because same thing. I got burnt out, and then I had the surgery, and which kind of would have been perfect time to like stock up on content and all this stuff and do all like the admin stuff. But it's just like, yeah, mentally, I was just like, man, I don't. Like, I think I'm just like, I'm in recovery mode, so I'm not gonna even fucking worry about that shit.
right,
I'm not gonna even stress myself over this stuff. Not yet, at least.
right,
So I get it, man. It's fucking, it's tough. It's tough. And some people are better at it than we are. I've had that sort of conclusion is that I'm like, yeah, maybe I want to be like able to stretch myself thin enough to be able to manage those aspects of my business, but it's just like I think I'm not well, I don't want to speak for you, but perhaps you're like me where like we're just artists, like we just like to make art and
right.
you know
Yes. Well, and having like a business where you're like trying to sell your art, like making the art is maybe like 20% of what it entails. Because you have
mm,
like bookkeeping and you have marketing and like if you're going to in-person events, like I know you do a lot of markets, that's a lot. It's
yeah.
so much. And so I relate to you where like like I wish that I could just make the art, drop it into a box, and then it just magically is out in the world and selling beautifully from there.
I mean, you know, I mean, yeah, yeah, exactly. You know what? With the direction and the rate that technology is going, like maybe you can have your own fucking like sort of like the bat signal, but it's just like it just shoots up a hologram of your current portfolio of new work just out in the air, and it could like be as big as like like the fireworks, right? And then like anyone just looks in the sky and be like, oh shit, Rhiannon's got a new PC.
Right?
And
They
like
instantly take out their wallet.
that thing that would like project your work in the sky, like that stuff will like also like automatically it would like airdrop into your social media and just kind
Yeah.
of does all that shit for you
Right.
all
Yeah.
at
And it
once.
gets it like to your perfect audience automatically.
I mean,
Yeah, that
if people are gonna have chips in them, like yeah, they can get like a little notification in that chip and be like, like oh hey, check it out.
right.
I mean, I don't know if it'd be like a shock. I just kind of imagine like, oh, what's going on here? Oh, Rhiannon's dropping some new pieces, and they're for sale. Awesome.
Yeah, if you could develop that technology, that would be great.
Not me, of course not. So if anyone catching this
Mm,
podcast right now, definitely, or
right.
in the future,
Right.
uh, yeah,
Obviously, though, we need royalties from the sales because we just came up with this idea. So,
sounds kind of cool. Like if maybe it could be like a thing. I don't know. If only I knew Elon Musk. God forbid I mention his name because I don't want to trigger anyone. But I mean, I don't know. I need a brain. I need a big brain to pitch that to and see what happens. No. Um, what a tangent there. But yeah, I agree with you though. It's draining. It's not even just like a time consumption, but it's just like energy consumption too. And
yes.
Yeah, like, and that's yeah, honestly, I have been thinking about the just like the concept of being sort of multifaceted that way for, I guess, just for artists and creatives. Because again, while some people are great at it, there's like just some that are not. And I do like, I kind of see this sort of pattern in a lot of things too, not even just like with artists. Like I'm a UFC fan, right? And when champions start blowing up in fame and they're like everywhere and they start their own thing. Sometimes just like people in general, when they start like they're known for one thing and then they kind of pivot and try these other avenues, you can see a difference in sort of like sometimes the quality of work, the volume of that work, the frequency of that work. Like I see it, and like I'll say I'm projecting too, because like I see it a lot in myself when I'm working on these projects. When this podcast was like every week, and I was booking people, multiple people, within a week, and all this stuff. Like I mean, at least it felt like it. I didn't know how other people saw it whenever I was like actively posting online. But like I'm like, man, I never feel like I have enough art. And even actually doing events too, I'm like, man, I feel like I don't have enough new stuff. And
Hmm.
I have a belief in that a lot of that is because of pursuing the podcast, trying to operate my YouTube and sure content creating. So like being able to like manage all of those things equally is like
Yes.
it's difficult for people like us. And
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Speaking of, so I also have opened a roadside bakery stand.
oh shit.
Speaking of spreading yourself way too thin.
I mean, look, credit to people that like I'm not trying to diminish like
No.
that thing. It's just yeah, oh god, no.
You're completely right though. It's
I really wasn't
stuff
trying to
to
be
be
like ill intent about it. I'm just like it's
no,
something I
that's
see.
hilarious. This is a great segue.
Yeah,
No,
right? Jeez.
um, but you're totally right because you only have enough energy, you only have enough time in the day. So like, oh, there's my dog.
Yep. Hi.
Yeah, he's been making all the snorty noises.
Oh man, people
Um,
that might be listening, you might want to watch so you can capture the shots of this cute dog. But yeah, go ahead.
Um, it's so I'm not currently working on like a collection or anything. I am undertaking like any commissions that come my way still.
Mm,
I don't know about you, but like between middle of January probably until like April, it really slows down a lot. And so to fill my time and to keep me from just like doom scrolling all day.
mm.
I was like, well, let me try. Like, I saw this lady with a really cute roadside stand where she sells bread, and I was like, I wonder if that would work for where I live. Because before I was an artist, I did like cakes and cupcakes, like decorating.
That's
Um,
right. That's right.
Yes. And then I had kids, which is really hard to do that kind of stuff with because they're very grabby,
Mhm.
they need your attention. And of course, they don't want your attention until you're trying to focus and work on something. And so I had to drop that. So it's kind of had like a reemergence for me, in the form of this little roadside stand. And it's nice because it's like honor system. And so my husband is great. He built me a cart that we just wheel down into our little park strip in front of our house. I throw up what I've baked for the day, and then people who are like in the neighborhood or whatever coming by stop and if something looks good, they buy it. They use Venmo or leave cash in like the lockbox, and that's that. So
Um,
yeah, it's fun. It's so fun. Like, Um, I have these really cute cake pops right now that look like little pots of gold for St. Patrick's Day.
Oh my God.
They're so cute. And so I'm having a lot of fun, like bringing creativity into my life that way. Like just a different medium, I think sometimes
Of-
can help.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's been like, I'll be honest, it's been distracting to my art business.
Well,
But
sometimes these things require a shift. It's just like at the end of the
yeah,
day, it's kind of like what your uh, ultimate goal is. Like it's a loaded question to be like, what is your ultimate goal? Like my good buddy Nick, who was just on the last episode. It should be out by the time. Well, it'll be out before this comes out. Um, so check that out, people who haven't seen it or heard it yet. But we talk about that, and if it's necessary to make those shifts if you need to, as long as, yeah, I mean, if it's like just another, creative endeavor or just an avenue to be able to like, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Just to be able to, have that fulfillment and being creative in
yeah,
that way, whether it's, yeah, same medium, different medium. Um, I mean, I don't know. Does that count as a medium? Like, it's just going into a whole different category of like almost like culinary, like.
right.
Because yeah, I mean, when I went to the Art Institute, that was one of the majors, like culinary. I had
Mhm.
a bunch of friends that were culinary students, and there is a creative and artistic um way of approaching it, and yeah, just all of it, like fuck, what's the word I'm looking for? Like stammering, but you get it, like accepting it and just admiring it, all of it. It's the
Yeah,
same thing. It kind of comes from the same place. So I think it's
right.
cool. It's just, yeah, maybe I should have rephrased like what I was trying to say initially about people that try to be multifaceted, because or just keep like quadrupling down on the fact that like some people are better at it than others, and like maybe in your
Right.
case like it just works differently, I suppose, like for everyone.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean,
I think if there's a diminish though in the, let's say, skill set or talent,
yeah,
that's when it becomes a problem. Like that, and I think that's what I was trying to like allude to is like, yeah, if pursuing the podcast, the YouTube channel and stuff, doing these like lame toy reviews that I've been doing lately, because like that's another like interest and hobby I have is like collecting action figures. But like doing that kind of content, and like if I was like actually seeing it and like got, from what people are saying as of the stuff I've been putting out, my skills have not diminished yet. But if that was the case, it's like, yeah, now that's a problem. So that's what I mean when people spread themselves thin to a point where like their main talent or their main skill starts diminishing in quality.
yeah, yeah, I totally
Boy,
understand.
I'm fucking long-winded. Sorry about that. I'm like, yo, so many words, bro, so many words. But yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
Do you share pictures of your bakery stuff? You don't. You
Yes.
do? Oh
I'll
yeah,
go ahead and
okay.
plug it. So if let's see, on Instagram is probably where I post the most. It's called Sweet Sparrow, one word, underscore Utah.
Okay, because I'm on your art page. So
Yeah,
um
I haven't mentioned it all on my art page.
okay. Hmm.
Because I feel like I don't know. I probably should mention it and be like, hey, I'm
What
really
what
quiet here because I'm posting like crazy on my new bakery stand.
what is it called? Sweet what now? I'm
Sweet
sorry.
Sparrow, like the bird, Sparrow,
If
underscore Utah, and it's got a green logo with a sparrow in it.
okay. Yeah, by the way, good morning.
Good morning. I'm drinking my version of coffee, which is Diet Mountain Dew. I don't like coffee,
It's
but
like
I need the caffeine.
do you like tea?
Sometimes,
I was
yes.
gonna say green tea is perfect. Stay away from don't turn me into Coach G. That's a person that comes up on my pod that shows up on any podcast, and I'm like, that's a beast I cannot
He just pops his
take.
head in sometimes.
Huh?
Coach G just pops his head in sometimes.
Like depending on whom onto whom, yeah, that it's unfortunate. Because
That's all right.
I try to I'm trying to be better about how passionate I get about that stuff. Like, because I went through a whole lifestyle change, and I used to be overweight and all that. So like the people closest to me like understand where I come from when I kind of go on like Coach G mode in my page sometimes, because it happens, like, and just because like all of those like sort of belief systems
Mhm.
they translate into other things. It's like a
Yes.
virtual thing, but anytime I hear people complain about their health, I'm like, huh? What now? Especially like when it comes to working out, because it's such a good thing for the mentality. But anyway, I'll digress. Um,
Okay, back
I
to
just
baked
followed
goods
your.
and sugary things, please.
Yeah,
Get out of
I
here,
know.
Coach G.
I so funny enough, before you shared your um other handle, I was going to say you might not be good for me in this case because I have such a bad sweet tooth, and I just followed your account. And I'm
Oh my
gonna
goodness. I mean,
it's
sometimes it's just good for the soul to get yourself a
I yeah, absolutely. Also, they're like, they're I
sweet
find them
treat, you
pretty.
know?
They're pretty, and kind of like talking about it artistically. Yeah, there is just this nice aesthetic to, the if we're talking about this gingerbread muffin, right? I mean, just the way, the shot that I'm seeing here on your thumbnail. Is this a video? Or is this okay? No, it's a picture. Well shot. Um, it really helps. It pops. Like, it pops in that, like, got this nice texture on it, and this vanilla icing. Fuck, this is not good. Like, not good for me, as in I'm gonna be hungry after this because I'm fasting.
The good news is that you are on the other side of the country from me, so
Yeah, I
it's not
can't.
like you can just hop in your car or walk your dog on over to the stand.
Oh, I was gonna say I can't smash my face into the screen right now because I need this computer. But no, for I'll include um this handle. Like, do you want promote this in the?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I'm like, now
that
I'm like, yeah, if you want this out in the open,
yeah, that's fine. I mean,
okay, cool.
like right now I think I have like 20 followers on that
That's
page and they're
okay.
all my neighbors.
No, you have
But
no, you have 43 followers.
see, I mean, it's double digits. I can't complain.
Yeah, no, you're like, yeah, when did you start
It's
this?
fine. No, like my focus really is just like keeping it local, keeping it controlled, and so it doesn't grow out of control because I could easily see it doing that. But I
Yeah,
mean,
but
it's something
sometimes like
fun and
sometimes that stuff is like it's just natural because like, especially when you step into something new, it's exciting. So you kind of tend to like splurge on that thing, or at least I'm projecting now. That's like how I am. Kind of
I
just
do that too.
splurge and just like all
Yeah,
the
it takes over your life for like a solid like 4 weeks. Yeah.
yeah, and then I'm burnt out and be like, what's next? Like,
Yeah, I can relate to that.
yeah.
Hence why I have a bakery cart right now. No, I'm thankful that my husband is sweet enough where he's like, okay, let's do it. Like he's always
Yeah, I was gonna
down
say,
for,
props to your husband.
yes, he's
Because
great.
yeah, it's awesome to have that kind of support, like same thing. Like my wife, I always give my wife praise because she same thing. She's very
Mhm.
supportive. Especially when we go out and do events. She's my assistant. Um,
She's
she's
your
bas
best unpaid employee.
she's my intern. You know,
Yes.
and like hopefully I'm not breaching any contract by saying like that's what she's in the papers. It's like she's actually filed as my intern. Because, yeah, the money is, you know, I invest in like the business and stuff. And then if there's like extra money, then yeah, I'll treat her to a nice lunch or dinner, right? So,
Right? Yeah. I
hey,
mean,
I'm not
my
breaking any
power was
laws there,
out
right?
earlier. Yeah. Like my power was out when was that? Tuesday?
Mm,
Yeah, Tuesday. I went to so I usually put the card out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And Tuesday I had to go to the dentist for cleaning, and then I come home and my power's out and I cannot get into my garage because the power's out, which also means like I can't put the card out. I can't hurry and bake some cookies before I put the card out. So I was like, well, I'll just take my husband to lunch and kill some time here. So it is really nice to be able to, with the leftover money, go treat the people that are supporting you. I think that's sweet.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Um, so yeah, new bakery. That's awesome. I'm I'm looking at some of your posts here, right? And yeah, it looks delicious. So
Did you see the pot of gold cake pops? Like, I'm so proud of those. They're so
um
cute.
is this a
But
oh right here, yeah. Oh jeez.
isn't that cute?
I'm like whispering into the mic. They do look good.
With the little
Man.
gold coin sprinkles on top. I mean, they're cute.
Yeah, for any foodies tuning in right now, give this woman a follow, okay? This stuff looks delicious. What is this like St. Patty's Day loaf? Is that sourdough? Yeah.
Yeah, it's sourdough. It's a loaf of sourdough bread, and I found a company that sells wafer paper with like little printed designs. So the shamrocks are like edible ink on wafer paper,
Mm,
and you put it on the loaf, you stick it on with like a little bit of water, and then you bake it like normal, and it just kind of like dissolves into the crust and it makes a really cute design.
damn, nice.
It also, I mean, this cart has also tied in my recent obsession with making sourdough. So
Uh,
it's been like a year-long thing for me. And so I was like,
okay.
and I can't, so like eating fresh baked bread, if or even like anything that has like any form of yeast in it, it tends to give me migraines. And
Hmm,
so I can only eat it like every so often, like once a week.
okay.
So I have to be careful with it, but I love to bake. So I'm like, well, this is perfect. Now I can bake and just like schlep it off to my neighbors.
I feel like I've heard or spoke to someone that's like that with certain foods like that yeah, like that either cook for like that's like their career or if they just like to cook on the side, but they would always make a certain dish or something that like they would just do it for their family or whatever, but they can't eat it themselves. But they just love it. They
Mhm.
enjoy making it, so it just doesn't bother.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah. But well, at least you know your body.
I
So
know,
that's
right?
good. You
It
had
took me a
that.
long time to figure out that I can't eat boxed macaroni and cheese like
Oh,
more than one day
that's
a week.
That's good. That's a good thing. That stuff is dangerous.
Come
Probably more
on.
dangerous now than
I know, right?
how it was in the 90s.
Yeah,
Um
the violent orange color. Yeah.
I have a nephew that like just so many kids were like, you know, brought up on that stuff, but just like knowing what we know now it's like ugh. Yeah,
I know.
terrible. But I wanted to ask you, like last year, didn't you do an event or a couple events? Did we talk about this stuff? Like
Uh,
since our last podcast, were you doing events then, or did you do a couple after our
I
first podcast?
I want to say they were after probably, but
Okay.
yeah, I did a couple markets and I made exactly $7.
Oh.
It's fine.
Now like the
You can
business
laugh.
mind
It's
is
great.
working because I'm like, well, so was there a fee you had to pay for the
Yes,
spot?
of
Oh,
course.
sorry. Honestly though,
It's
I've been
fine.
there. I've definitely been there. So
It was a learning experience, and I'm fine with that. And also, not I need to go to art-centric events is what I
yeah.
have discovered.
Well,
Um,
what was the event that you went to? Like, was it an artisan market? Was it what do you call it?
it was like a
Farmers
local
market?
farmer. Uh-huh.
But you got
And
gorgeous glizzy and
I
corn
know, right?
corned
And
beef.
the I know, and the oh my gosh, what are those called now? The little sausages, what are those?
Oh, Vienna sausage.
Thank you.
Yeah. By the
Yes.
way, I still have to buy one of your prints. I'm so sorry.
Oh
I
my
broke my
gosh.
promise.
Well, let me tell you this, G. I was thinking about this today and I was like, I should just gift it to you
No,
because
no, no. I want to be supportive. It's just my money is going so fast. So
no, I understand that. I get that totally. But yeah, the markets were not, I don't know, like people, I had a lot of fun talking to people about art. Um, and people telling me like, oh, my grandma paints watercolor and just like the small talk stuff like that.
Mhm.
But it was not a great, in hindsight, not the best venue to try and sell art.
So yeah, so this brings up a lot of questions for me now because I have this conversation a lot on the podcast with just by myself or to the audience or to with my guests, but was it just not good? Like throughout the whole day, was it quiet or like were you active but just not selling throughout the day? Like was the day full of engagement with other people or was it like you kind of just sat there and there wasn't a lot of traffic? Because those things can like really weigh out like how good or how bad. I mean, obviously it sucks to lose money, but I take a lot of value out of even like if my day was full of like interactions and praise and
Right.
this and that. It's just, it can be healthy, good for the soul, right? And
Yes.
so I've done shows where I lost money, but the engagement was phenomenal. So it was like
Hmm.
I would leave events just feeling like I would leave feeling like I made a lot of money, but it was just more of the engagement, right?
Hmm.
And there's nothing wrong with kind of just looking at it that way, and especially for this was for your first event.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I signed
Was
up for
it?
like the same market for like how 4 weeks I think we did it.
Okay.
And like some days were just like really slow for the market. And I
Okay.
think the time of year affected that too because I want to
Oh my
say
gosh.
football season had just started and it was
Yeah.
on Friday evenings. And so I feel like that affected it. And then there was a couple times where like it was pretty decent traffic and getting a lot of engagement, but just you have people tell you that your art's cool and that they like it, but then they don't end up making the purchase.
Oh boy.
Um, which is whatever.
Preaching to the choir.
Yes. And art is like so subjective too. So it's
Yes.
like, you know, out of all the people visiting, like how many people are gonna want a picture of a Pop-Tart wearing a flower crown? I don't know.
That's my
The
flower.
the answer for my experience was zero. So
Well, there's man, like some people, I will say, like like a regular 9 to 5, they will never understand unless they're out there in the battlefield with us. They will never understand like how many factors are involved in like just having a successful event, period, right?
Hmm.
And yeah, because oh my God, yeah, when people are just like, what, like, so I'm like very what's the word? I try to be a little more like forgiving and stuff, but like um like if I saw your work, and maybe because I'm an artist, I wouldn't be like, "Oh, you're so talented, Rhiannon. You're so
Right.
talented."
Like, oh,
No,
the
I'd
T
be
word,
like,
no.
I don't know, but I would say, "Wow, you got some great skill." Like I always differentiate when there's talent and skill. And again, that's probably just because I'm looking at it coming from as an artist. But man, there was one time I did an event where a kid actually pointed out my skill, and I'm like, "Huh." You're a bright child. Thank you. But I mean, I get it. It's just like a common compliment, but it does,
Yes.
it hits the vendor differently when like when like, man, I put fucking, whatever X amount of years on this shit. And
Right.
it's just like,
Right.
but obviously they never know, right? But I just, again, depending how well you're observing someone's table and their product, it's just like, oh yeah, like this person is skillful. This is just
Right.
beyond talent. Everyone is talented, but like you can tell by their craft that like, yeah, they put a lot of time into this craft. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
that's sorry I went on a tangent there. I get very passionate about that.
This reminds me, so my family and I went to Disneyland last October, and in like one of the shops inside the hotel, they have like artists sitting there drawing just like different Disney scenes. And so a guy happened to be there drawing when we were walking through, so I started talking to him just because one of my favorite thing to ask like a working artist is like what do they like to create in their free time? And so we start having a conversation and I ask him like what's your favorite thing to create? And he tells me, "Oh, well, I do a lot of the Star Wars stuff and at work and while I'm here I'm doing all just only Disney stuff." And I said, "Okay, but what do you like to do like at home in like your free time?" And he like stops and he's like, I don't really create for myself much." And I was just like, oh, man, like I feel like I like saw something in his eyes die when he said that, and I was like, oh,
Mm.
like leave it to me to accidentally like hit someone's soft spot like that. But I don't know, it made me feel so sad. He's not like creating art for himself.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta have some sort of balance with that, you know. Like I get it if
Yeah.
you're especially you run it as a business, it's like, yeah, you kind of want to like have a balance, be able to I mean, if you can be able to like kind of like I'm just gonna make this well, yeah, actually never mind. Like when it comes to visual arts, like because I have so much stuff that's just for me, and there are a lot of times where I'm like, that maybe I can make a buck out of that. Just make a
Mhm.
print, right? Just make a
Yeah,
print,
well,
anything. But yeah, you gotta have some sort of balance of being able to just like create things just for you because you wanted to
yeah.
create it.
Well, and maybe you struggle with this too, because I know you take on commissions like I do, and there's sometimes where it's just like months of like commissions back to back.
Oh
And
man, my
like I'm
flow is
so
slow.
grateful for the work. What
Yeah.
did you say?
No, I'm sorry. I'm like my flow is slow with that. Like uh for me it's like every couple months. It's not very I
Oh,
don't know. I
okay.
feel like I could be more I could be more active with private commissions, but I think
Hmm.
during the time I'm so active at markets and events
Yes.
that it doesn't allow
Right.
me. So I think it's just flip-flopped. We're kind of a little flip-flopped there. But
Yeah.
you were saying no with all the commissions.
Oh, yeah. So there'll be like months where all I'm working on is commissions, and I'm like, crap, and of course, those are the months where I am feeling so inspired to like paint other things, and
Mm,
I just don't have the time to, paint whatever I want, what I mean. I don't have time to paint whatever I want because I've got to get these commissions done. And then of course, like once I get through those commissions, all of a sudden my brain's like, meh,
yeah,
not feeling inspired to paint anything. Like I don't know if it's this weird, I don't, maybe it's just like a mental thing,
I think it's a
where like,
stage. It's kind of like a stage,
yeah.
or a phase, if you want to say. Um, I kind of that makes me think of, to a degree, it kind of reminds me of like stand-up comedians when they finally put out a new special and then they got to go back into the clubs and work on new material, or just even writing new material in general. They kind of feel flat because it's like,
Yes.
they've done all this work for this long on this new hour, and now they got to get humbled again with like coming up with new ideas and new material for, and playing that game of like the crowd rejection or acceptance. Like there's a lot of sort of that, but yeah, I think that kind of is like the same thing with us, when making new art, whether it's for a client. So I totally get that, because I kind of feel that way sort of when I'm working on stuff for me. And it's like, man, now
Hmm.
I gotta like make new pieces when I start doing events again. But I'm like, a lot of the stuff I put out, like half the time, it's like just shit that I'm into, that I'm like geeking off, geeking over. So it's like, I don't know if this stuff is gonna sell. There's a lot of risk in it. Um, and I think that's kind of like what I was trying to get to about having that balance of creating something for yourself and not for the customer or client,
Right.
perhaps.
Right. And not
Like
for if
mine
it's
is,
gonna go viral. Yeah.
yeah, I think, and also because of like the time. I mean, I don't want to just say just me, but like, yeah, I think for a lot of people, a lot of stuff we make is just, it's a reflection of us, right? It's like they
Right.
always say, don't you don't want to just follow what someone suggests, because like not everyone's going to be into that. Same thing with like, yeah, I mean, I'm huge Bruce Lee fan, but I don't know if someone's going to buy a portrait of this, this 11 by 14 portrait or not. Like I sold one, but I've had it for at least like a year or two, and
Hmm.
sometimes by chance at a market. And that's why doing events is tricky, right? Because you never know what's gonna sell. Unless you really have your groove. Some people are really good about it. I'm not, because of the type of artist and the type of art I produce. And
Right.
I guess like, yeah, that could, apply to you too. With, you got your food paintings with the crowns, and then you got your the pet portraits, animal portraits. Like there's, you kind of have different sort of I guess like genres of work.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
and that gets tricky, so it's like, I feel like, and let me know if like I'm onto something here, because I kind of feel, I think I was initially drawn to your work because of just what I said, really. Like, um like, I mean, I addressed your skill. You're very skillful, but then, um, like, I like your portraits. The new abstract landscapes are beautiful, but then I like that, you do the food portraits, the pets and stuff too, and then you got the space, those astronaut paintings. So I like that you have your work, for me, is recognizable by style as opposed to the niche.
Subject. Interesting.
Yeah,
That's
sorry it took
something.
forever for me to get that out, but
No,
yeah.
you got there. Oh, that's so cool to hear though, because I think a lot of artists early on are really worried about finding their style when really when it comes down to style, it's just a set of choices that you're making every time that you are creating.
Yeah.
And so that just makes my artist heart so happy to hear
Oh,
that
my pleasure.
you can
But like,
recognize the
but it's
style.
true. Because like I don't know, maybe that's why I don't know, I've always had like sometimes cringe inside when I hear people talk about niche because I feel like when they talk about the niche, it always has to be like a singular kind of thing. Like I always think about trying to get so for example, I have a good friend. His name is Bernie. Shout out to Bernie McCabe. And his niche is he does these large paintings of mazes. Jesus, I'm sorry, Bernie, if you ever catch
Oh,
this. I almost forgot your niche. But his thing, like his handle is amazing art. Um,
hold on. Now I need to look him up.
so he has a very certain niche where it's all these mazes, but in the mazes themselves also like spell out words. So there's like these really cool like Easter eggs or sort of
Oh.
subliminal messages. So like and they're very vibrant and all that. So like
Mm-hmm.
that's a niche, right? Like the thing you're kind of seeing or
Yes.
sort of
Yes.
subject matter. Whereas artists like us, I feel like our niche or niche, however you say it, I bounce between the two. But I feel like ours is like not the thing where, I mean, it can be the things that we paint, but it's more so our style and technique of painting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, you do have a very unique style too. And whenever I'm scrolling through my feed, I can always tell if it's something that you've made too.
Yeah, and there's like and there's always like a yeah, and there's like a pattern, right? Like he's like, oh man, G's on his fucking portrait like phase right now. Or you start seeing food portraits, or you see like, oh, G did Power Rangers today. And
Oh, G's been watching 90s cartoons again.
oh, new toy video? Got it. No, you know, like that's a thing. So um yeah, so that's so when I think of niche or niche, like I think people are always generally talking about like just the subject matter, the thing that people are just painting.
Hmm.
Whereas it's like, no, our stuff is like our niche is like how we do it. It's our approach, all of that. So
Yeah, I can never tell if it's like detrimental to not niche down. I don't know, something about it feels so just like yucky to me. Like I very much have a personality of like, you're not gonna tell me what to do.
oh man, me too.
I'm very Cartman, like I do what I want kind of thing. Like like that's completely me 100%.
So
And
that
like the second you tell me not to do something, I'm like, okay, watch me go do it.
Yo, oh my gosh. I feel like if we went to school together, like whether grade school or high school, I feel like we would get along. Um because like I'm the same way. I'm kind of rebellious in that way.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help when you kind of have a I'm using this word very loosely, but when you kind of have like a comedian mindset,
Hmm.
you don't want to say that because I'm gonna fucking do something. Not
Right, you're gonna
so
find a way. Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like
Yeah.
if you just like leave me alone and let me do my thing, I'm fine. But the second you tell me not to do something, I'm like, okay, watch.
It's like, why does your hot dog have a crown? Like, or like, oh, I don't know if you should put a crown on that hot dog. Be like,
Yeah. It's like, okay, watch
all
me.
right, now I'm putting crowns on all these fucking things.
Well, okay, so it's funny that you say that because I started with like painting flower crowns on animals. I don't know. It was a weird phase. And then someone was like, said a joke saying, well, you would probably paint a flower crown on a hot dog. And I was like, you know what? I would. Watch me do it.
Did we talk about this on the last one? I
I
apologize if we like repeat.
No,
subjects, but
we probably did, yeah.
it's just so it's such a funny like story and concept. Like anyone that's catching this, you gotta see it. It's like
It's
it's so funny, but again, like they're so well painted, so it's just like it really provides a lot for. I mean, I'll say the theme of this is like fulfilling the soul. It's like, man, like this painting is so good, but it's so funny. It's like
right.
you feel many things when you look at it. That's why
Yes.
again, I'm not trying to like leave you hanging by saying like eventually I'm gonna get this print, but that's why I want the corned beef because I'm like, man, like it's well painted, but also I grew up eating that with rice. Like it hits home for me. So
Oh, I
that's
love
like the
it.
beauty.
The
That's the
absurdity, like I love absurd art.
yes.
It just tickles the right humor spot for me. I don't know.
No, and that's beautiful. And then, that kind of, like to sort of repeat what Lennon used to say. And for the audience, I'm talking about someone that we used to like work with for this online academy, which by the way, we're both dropouts. But there was this online academy that Rhiannon and I
Oh
used.
wait, you left?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Oh, I didn't
that's
know that
right.
you
So
left.
I think
I influenced you to leave, didn't I?
no, no, no. I've So, okay, so forgive me because it's been a while since I've like tuned into our last podcast. And as I'm doing this, I'm like, oh man, now I'm thinking we're gonna be like hitting some familiar spots or revisiting the subjects again. But no, I think at the time I was still in it. I think I was
Yeah, you
still
were
in it.
still in it, but you were kind of like
I was on the fence.
wishy-washy.
Yeah, I was on the fence, and I'll take some accountability. There was definitely, I definitely have that um sort of like if I don't put in the work, I'm gonna feel less encouraged to keep stay on that path. But there was just like, you know, you did kind of instilled me with the idea of like kind of taking on their personalities, or
Or
maybe not.
yeah, or just seeing like what they're working on and being like, "Oh, I need to
Yes.
be working on that."
Well, you start becoming competitive, I think.
Hmm.
Because I think every artist sort of has that little competitiveness in with them, especially like when you're like if you were at a market and you saw another visual artist that has a little fucking baking cart too, be like, yo, what the fuck? The fuck is my fucking
With
hood? Yep. No, I'm
cute
kidding.
little
Obviously,
pots
Rhiannon
of
doesn't
gold
talk like
cake
that.
pops.
Like I'd love to see you like go like gangster for like a second. Like, yo, what the fuck? No.
Yeah, start slinging out my loaves of bread at you.
This cake pop's just a model. Shit's like hard.
Right?
Toss it at
This
him.
one's been out for weeks.
Yeah, right. This one's 2 weeks old. Um, no, but oh geez, I lost track of what I was trying to.
Okay,
Oh yeah,
so sorry.
with the
You
CIA.
you
Um,
left. When did you leave?
I honestly don't remember. It was
Okay.
I'll say it was a slow process, or at least it went through like phases. Right, I stopped attending the meetings. Um, and then I stopped with the studies, like the lessons. Like I actually have the last stuff that I think there was like one worksheet that I never finished, right? And I actually
Mm-hmm.
saved that. Like I have some notes that I saved because I'm like I know like these things will I'm gonna have to revisit these whether through these lessons or just like on my own out in the wild. So I'm like, I'm gonna
Right.
keep these and so I have something to refer to. Um, but yeah, I just kind of wasn't enthusiastic about it anymore because of what we just talked about with like that sort of like taking on other people's, um, you know, seeing what they're doing, seeing how well they're doing, or
Right. I
even
know,
like
right?
how unwell they were doing. Sometimes I'm like seeing these people kind of complaining about something. It's just like, bro, like, this
I
again.
know. My favorite was like seeing people complain about it, and then like their stuff like would blow up, and I'm all, ugh, no, no, people who complain don't get what they want.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's funny. But
But
I get it. I've been there. I've been there. I'm guilty of it.
oh, that's
There's a
funny.
couple people in my head that like I immediately think of, and I don't know if you remember Lena. She's
Yeah.
Sweden. So we have like there's a couple people that we joke about like privately.
Okay, I'm curious to know if it's the same person that.
All right, so one of them, I did
No, no, we know it.
I won't say names, even though
Mm,
guarantee they don't. Well, I shouldn't say that. Like I've learned the hard way that you never know who's listening.
right,
But
we don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot on
I'm not.
this,
I won't
G.
say names, but I'll do. There's an impression I did the last time when I had Lena on, and we were just having a laugh about it. And they have like this video that, of course, it probably went fucking viral. Probably got like thousands and thousands of views and likes and blah blah blah. But anyway, the video starts like it's basically it's like, and this is why I became an artist.
I don't know who this is.
Okay. I wasn't sure if your reaction was like, oh, I know who that is.
No, but okay.
He has an accent. And I just couldn't do the accent, but it's like,
Oh my
that is why
gosh.
I became an artist. And it's like a slow zoom into his face. It's all fucking dramatic and shit. Very talented and skilled, very skillful. But I'm just like, this shit's too fucking serious, bro. And maybe it's just because like you and I were like very humorous people, so it's just like, dude,
Uh,
turn the lamp on or something. Shit, like why is this? But like,
maybe he didn't pay his power bill. It's fine. He's an artist.
no, but yeah, there's and we're handling all these different personalities. I mean, the CIA, it's so funny. It's like the CIA, and if I had like a suit and shit, it'd be like
I
the
know people that
CIA.
don't know are like, damn,
No, yeah, no.
CIA.
Um, no, but like, I mean that community app thing, like that thing is like it's another like social media platform, and I think that was like kind of one of the things that was running through my head is like, yeah, this is like just another Facebook, another Twitter, another fucking thing that I have to, that I don't want to say I have to be active, but in order to be successful, I gotta stay on
Right.
top of all these things. It just became overwhelming. And sure, if I did my work, it probably wouldn't have been. No, sorry. I am a little spiteful because I think one of the last things that convinced me um like unsubscribe, you know,
Mhm.
um was that I have a bad habit of like I'll see a post by somebody if I haven't seen them in a while, I'll be like, "Oh, I wonder if they still follow me." So I did.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
you're a
I
little
went
pettiness.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm petty. And if you want to blame zodiac signs, I'm a Scorpio. You
Oh,
know.
so am I, so I
Yo,
get
I was gonna say that before. I'm like, yo, are you a Scorpio?
it.
When we're talking about the rebelliousness.
Yes.
That's amazing. So I fucking saw a video from Lennon. Yeah, I'll name drop, whatever. He's too busy to listen to this podcast.
This will be
But
the one that he listens to.
yeah, right. Fucking A. But I was like, yeah, all right, let me just see. Let me just see if he still follow. And he wasn't. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck?
Oh no.
And I'm like, is it because I haven't been attending to the meetings or postings like
But you're
when?
positive he was following you before.
Huh?
You're positive that he was following you before?
Oh yeah, because when I got mildly canceled,
You
he
got
like
canceled?
yeah.
What? Mildly canceled?
Yeah, like yeah, I said some things, pissed off some people, and I did like this very cringy but emotionally filled um apology on Instagram Live, and he was one of the people that reached out and like was just being supportive and all this. And yeah, like I don't know how much, maybe like almost a year later, I was like, oh, what the fuck, man? You don't even follow me anymore. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna cancel
Uh,
my payments and all this because like I was still paying money. That was a thing. And like
oh no.
but I was still paying the monthly fees. I'm like, all right, I'm wasting money here, and whether it's sure it's my fault. I should have like just done this sooner. But I'm just like, yo. And then what's funny is another mutual friend of ours, Kristen Steindel. Shout
Hmm.
out. I gotta have her back on soon. Um,
Shout out to her because she is always so
she's a
supportive
hero.
and
She's
yes. I
like,
don't know if he ever followed me. I'm gonna say probably not, but I honestly like never checked. I don't know.
no, I knew.
It's still festering.
And
No, I know that you're not ever gonna get past that too because you're a Scorpio and I
well,
know.
yeah, like there's a couple of patrons that I was following, like that we were mutually following each other, and then my pettiness was like, let me check.
Oh my God, I just see you like writing their names on a list. Like
It'd be like that scene in Billy Madison.
that's exactly what I was picturing. Hopefully they
I'm,
apologize so you can cross them off the
I'm
list.
I'm Steve Buscemi. Yeah,
Yes.
just cross that shit out, put lipstick on.
Yeah.
I might
That's
have to.
exactly.
I may have to use my Procreate skills and use that for our thumbnail. Just me, my head cropped onto Steve
Red one.
Buscemi.
You're gonna have to put on some lipstick for this, I think.
No, I'm just gonna use Procreate. It'll be cheaply done. Like it'll be real cheap looking.
One thing though that I mentally bookmarked, I was like, okay, so since I released that new collection, we're
Yes.
pivoting here.
Yeah, no, no, fine. That's
A
totally
hard
fine.
pivot
I'm like, yeah, because I'm looking at your work, and the reason why I thought it was a winter series was simply because of the color palettes that you.
was simply because of the snow.
I
No,
mean,
I'm
yeah.
kidding. I think so. I did some. Sorry. I'm gonna blame the lunar eclipse for the amount of smartassery that is
Oh, that's
coming out of
right.
my mouth.
That was overnight, right? That was like
Yeah, yep.
there was no way I was
My,
gonna catch that.
I know it was snowy and cloudy here, and my
Okay.
son, he's 9. He was so disappointed that he
Aw.
was not going to be able to see it. So we watched it on YouTube this morning, but
How did it look?
um like the moon
But was it
with
actually
a
like beat red?
with a
Like,
tinge of red,
okay.
slightly red, yes.
Mm,
I don't know, it's pretty cool. That would be cool to be able to like actually go out and see it, but
mm.
sometimes the clouds don't cooperate, so
And you're supposed to have glasses or some like eye protection to wear, right?
no, that's for
Or
like a solar eclipse.
oh,
Not when you're looking at the
oh yeah,
moon.
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Oh no.
That's a good point.
That's
Not
funny.
my not my brightest moment.
Yeah, you're out there at night with your sunglasses on. I can't see anything.
Oh
Uh,
shit. Uh,
that's funny.
yeah. Okay, so yeah, you were saying about your series.
Yes. Okay,
It's so nice
so
though. I love it.
I let's see. So I built a website just so I could release this and then absolutely not touch it again after I released my artwork.
A little pump and
'Cause
dump. Like just
I don't know. I don't have an explanation for
it looks so
it.
nice though. I'm looking at it right now. It's so
Oh, thank
professional.
you.
Of course.
Um, So it's the Between Horizons collection.
Hmm.
You probably feel like it's a winter because some of these ornaments have snow on them, I'm guessing.
It is, yeah, you're right. There is snow.
So
I was
that
just looking at the color.
so that is fair. Some of the ornaments do have snow on them because I
They're
figured
really
like a
nice.
Christmas tree ornament probably should be snowy. So, but I figured a way to stretch watercolor paper onto these little mini embroidery hoops. And so that is what allowed me to create those ornaments, which I thought was pretty clever.
Mm, that's
Um,
nice.
but yeah, the collection was it's a really big what's the word I'm looking for? Maybe departure from what people typically see from you or from me.
Hmm.
Because it's very abstract, very loose. It was very much a call and response to whatever the watercolor pigment was doing. Like
Yeah.
I went into these paintings with like no plan other than this is going to be a landscape of some sort. And then like I had my palette picked out, my color palette. But other than that, I was just slapping some pigment on the paper and wetting it with a brush and just letting it flow into whatever it wanted to be.
Mm. You know, it's really nice work. I've said it a bunch of times, I'm sure,
Thank
but
you.
it's nice work. And sorry, I got distracted because I my mic kind of like popped in. But so do you really think it's because to me, I don't know if this is abstract or I kind of get like expressionist vibes.
Okay. Yeah,
So
I
I'm
can see
sure
that.
the way you approach it feels like abstract, but
Abstract.
then the results, I don't know, they kind of feel expressionist a little bit.
Yeah, now that you say that,
Because I've seen
I
like
think you're
real
right.
abstract landscapes and they're like fucking like yeah, you could
Yes.
tell they just like just like they're whatever. But this again, your approach and how you executed, I'm sure it kind of was in that way, but the results show something much more more kind of like refined or something like
That's fair. Okay, yes.
because I
I think
with
you're right.
the bleed with the water and stuff like the way you ratioed
Mhm.
your paint and water like that will probably kind of give it some of that abstract feel, but like you still have some well-defined trees and like landscapes in there, so like and art is objective subjective, I get them mixed.
Subjective.
Yeah, so it's like, depending on who the viewer is. But if I were to use my artistic eye,
No, I think
mm,
you're right.
oh, you can always disagree. This is a
No,
safe
I
space, people.
I think you have made a good point that nobody else has been like, lady, I think this is I think this is impressionistic, not abstract.
Look, I'm not great when it comes to like art history and art like just artistic knowledge. Like I've definitely felt slept through my art history classes, but this is kind of just going with my gut feeling and remembering certain terms. But this feels, again, this is my opinion, it does come off as more expressionist than abstract. Uh, Either way, you can say whatever you want, obviously, but either way, beautiful work.
Oh, great. Now I have to
Um,
go through and edit all of this text. All right, get
no,
abstract out of here.
no, you can just be like, no, G, fuck you, man. Like, go ahead. You can give me the stinger if you want. Just be like,
No,
no, man, it's abstract.
no, I think your point is fair, and yes, I agree with what you're saying. I do.
So, do you see yourself doing another series like this, like for the next season or like for spring or summer,
Yeah,
depending on.
I think I would because it's very, no, the painting like this is it's so different. It's nice to go into it and not have like any expectations for like
True.
how it's going to turn out. which is a big departure from, pet portraits.
Yeah.
Where if it doesn't where if it doesn't look a certain way, then your client's not going to be happy.
Right.
But yeah, I think I'll probably switch up the color palette and I don't know, maybe do a different theme of who knows what.
Mhm.
Ocean scenes, desert scenes, I don't know, something.
Watch you watch you throw a major like you know, hook and just do like Tron type like fucking electro like vibe like abstract or expressionist painting like where the fuck did this come from, Rhiannon?
Apocalyptic
Hey, I've done a few
landscape.
myself, and there's something quite peaceful about that approach. I used to have because I used to have I was just trying to like be um I just want to have any access of I mean this is like before Procreate, before all this stuff, and I used to have like a painting app on my phone, and I'm be like if I'm like on a lunch break at work and just want to paint something, I had this little painting app, and yeah, I've done like a lot of more scenic stuff. One of them
Mhm.
was apocalyptic, and yeah, I was like, oh, yeah, I'm feeling this kind of style. Like, I didn't know what to call it then, but I would now. I'm thinking back. I'm like, yeah, this is kind of expressionist, but it was digital stuff. But I think
Yeah.
doing it traditionally, it just, well, I'm kind of speaking out of my own experience. Like, there is like a nice feeling to, people that are just listening. You cannot see what kind of movements I'm doing, but yeah, you're in the moment and you're able to just feel like stroke language. Like you have that control of stroke language and brush strokes and all that. Like I've been
Yeah.
very like that's one of the things I'm always looking at when I'm looking at paintings, whether it's like oil, acrylic, or watercolor. I'm like I always try to either try to find or just observe like how artists use their brush language,
Like the textures and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. That's one thing that I really envy about oil and acrylic is being able to get like such a vast variety of textures and brush strokes and things
Yeah.
like that. Where like with watercolor, it's the way the paint bleeds out or like the different grains that you get or, splatters. Some dry brushing,
Yeah.
but it's like I always envy being able to like feel the brush strokes in a painting. But for me personally, I am far too impatient to utilize those mediums.
Yeah. Have we talked about gouache,
I maybe a little. I've
whether
used
on the
squash a
pod
little bit.
or
Do you use it
privately?
a lot?
No, I don't. I only use it when
Okay.
I need to use white. Just to
Oh,
get a popping white.
did did you know they make a bleed proof white for watercolor?
I'm like really behind on stuff.
Okay. Well, I mean, gouache works too. It's
Yeah. I well, so I mean I grabbed gouache because I would like to work with gouache.
hmm
I always leave myself open to it, just never fucking did it. Or did anything with it. Like I have like a little nice starter pack, but just again, you fall into your habits and comfort zones. So I'm always just like, I watercolor if I'm gonna paint.
Yeah.
But like yeah, gouache seems like the best sort of middle for
Meeting.
us watercolorists. Like, yeah, well, like if I want to go more opaque, let me try gouache and then just see. And then
Yes.
like I feel like that would be sort of the orders. And if I'm wrong, to anyone tuning in, correct me. Uh, like it would be like, let's say watercolor, gouache, acrylic, and then oil. Oil's like the final boss, I feel like.
I don't know though. There's people who are really intimidated by watercolor because you
Oh no,
can't
for
control it
sure.
as much.
No, well, I guess
For
I'm just
you,
I'm breaking it down from like, just from water, like,
the
fluidity
spectrum.
to, yeah, like, cause
Yes.
I agree. Anytime I talk to painters, cause like this painting behind me, I'll show you, um,
Oh
that's
yeah.
acrylic. Yeah,
Okay.
shout out to my homie Ivan Pesic. Um so skillful and talented. Um so that's like an expressionist painting, I believe. I never actually talked to him about that, but that's because like there's a lot of like he works with a palette knife, and so you
Okay.
can if you see it up close, there's a lot of expression in his, the way he lays the paint on the canvas. But yeah, I just feel like so when I'm talking to other painters, they say the same thing. They're not comfortable with the
Hmm.
chaos. That's a it's a controlled chaos, but yeah, you can't blend just like the way you approach things or execute. It's like you can't blend the same way in watercolor as you would with paint, and
Right.
vice versa. So yeah, I've spoken to a lot of artists that are like, yeah, man, watercolor, mm-mm. But we say the same shit with regular paints. Like,
Right.
I don't know, too much control, too
I
much.
know. Yeah, exactly. But you're right. Gouache is a nice like middle between in where like you can reconstitute it with water and it's opaque. And I like sometimes I'll use gouache if I've like really messed up an area in a painting, but I like how the rest of it is and I don't really want to start over. And so gouache is helpful in like giving you an extra tool to be able to fix the big mess up.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I just this analogy. I don't know if it's gonna make sense, but this kind of popped up. Like watercolor and gouache, they're like a cat, right? It's like when you need to tame it down and get some control back, it's like, I'm gonna just spray some water on you. Stop. You stop right now.
That's hilarious.
That's what watercolor and gouache is to me. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, you got your sweets Sparrow biz going, so that's really exciting. I'm actually, I'm gonna say this, because like I've always wanted to have you back, and I'm so glad that we made it happen, because yeah, like there's so much to look forward to with the stuff that you're doing now, and um even though I'm gonna like, you know, what's the word? Um what's the word when like drug addicts like they go sober and then they have a
A relapse.
yeah, I'm gonna relapse. Like I just had my dentist appointment on Monday, so something, and I'm seeing your stuff. I'm just gonna be like, oh shit. I'm gonna be like itching. I'm like itching.
Oh my God.
Like,
Hey, it's like I tell everyone, like, just I'll do anything to not have to get a normal job. So so just let me have my painting and my bakery cart. Well, once in the spring, it will also have flowers on it because I love to be out in the garden too, but obviously no flowers right now in Utah.
I was actually gonna ask you, do you find yourself, or have you already thought about like sort of building the bridge between the two different crafts? Like, we talked about the flower crowns a lot just because it's so funny and just so like, I don't know, like I feel like when I think of you now, when I think of like flower crowns, I'm like, either it's like
Or
inanimate.
corn dogs.
Yeah, or just food or inanimate or animals, but like I feel like flower crowns, at least for me, is like is a it's a Rhiannon thing now. And whether you like it or not. Um but what I'm getting to is like, do you see yourself doing something where like, I obviously I'm no like culinary type, but like what if you use like some sort of safe coloring for food where you kind of like paint a flower crown on your sourdough or something. Like,
Okay, so this is funny. Yes, there there is food paint.
yeah.
There is. And I haven't like I'm not I don't need another hobby right now. Maybe like I tend to take on all my hobbies like once it starts snowing outside. So maybe this will
It's
be
like your
a new.
hibernation.
Yes,
Like,
like last year, for whatever reason, I got like way into fish tanks and aquariums. Like, I don't know. It's just,
wait, you
maybe it was
mean
the year
fish tanks
before,
with flower crowns? No.
right? The fish with flower crowns. Yeah.
Wait, so wait,
So,
what did you do with the tanks?
well, okay, so this started because my son was gifted a betta fish for his birthday. And it we need and my dad is also very much into aquariums. Like we had a huge 55-gallon aquarium growing up, and he's got one in his house now. And so obviously he's like, well, you can't just put this fish in a bowl. You need to like get a legit setup. And that was like the start of the rabbit hole that is
Mm,
fish tanks and aquariums. Because then you need like aquatic plants, and then you need fertilizers for
oh
those, and
my
then
gosh,
your fish needs a tank mate, and then your fish needs a snail to clean up the algae, and it spirals.
yeah, I
So,
can.
but
Yeah, I
anyways,
can
so
imagine.
yes, in the winter, catch up with me, and I will let you know what my current hyperfixation is.
Maybe we can do a winter episode.
Right?
You're like, all
So,
right, man, and what fill me in? What's going on?
yeah, exactly. But
What's
to
what's
answer your
cooking?
question, I don't know. I haven't felt like the urge to paint foods. But I would like to explore, the edible paint on like a loaf of sourdough, I think would be beautiful. And like I love making pretty things, and so I do foresee that happening. But another thing that I've thought about doing is maybe hand painting some like greeting cards and throwing those in the bakery stand. Just for people to, like if you're picking up a treat for, I don't know, like a birthday or something, or like a family gathering, maybe you also need a greeting card with a hot dog and a flower crown on it. No, I'm just kidding.
She's
No,
not
probably
everyone. She's not joking. No.
probably no hot dogs with flower crowns.
Oh
My
man.
neighbors already think I'm weird enough. It's fine. They're like, "Oh, great. What is the crazy Halloween lady doing now?"
Oh no, you're that neighbor.
Oh, for
You're that
sure.
neighbor now. Yeah.
I don't
Mm.
know. I'm always up to something, I guess.
Well, look, at least you're active. You got
Right.
you got ideas. I think once you start running out of ideas, that becomes a problem.
I think
It's good to
that,
like have too much thing. Like, it's like well, how am I trying to word it? It's good to have this problem. It's a good problem to have. So, yeah, as long as you got
I don't know.
ideas.
My husband might disagree with you because I'm always
Uh,
asking him to build me stuff.
I get, yeah, I mean, I get it. But hey, man, your husband should know. Happy wife, happy life.
That's right. I mean,
Shit, come on. Come on, hubby.
happy wife, happy life, or else you get the laser eyes. It's fine.
I don't know. Well, my wife's Italian, so I probably get the mob after me.
Mm. Yeah,
Or
you better watch
or
out.
or her grandma's wooden spoon. Something. I'm getting whacked in some way,
Either
some.
way.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, it's so fun because like now that I know how much you love sourdough, have you heard of this or have you ever heard of this comedian named Tom Papa?
Mm-mm.
So he has this podcast. Do you like listening to podcasts? Like when
Oh
you're
yeah, all the
oh, okay.
time.
I don't
What's
know
the
if this,
pod?
I don't know if this might be for you, but the theme is perfect for you because it's called Breaking Bread. Because his thing on the side from stand up is he loves making bread. It's an
Okay.
art form for him.
Yeah.
Very passionate about it. And yeah, he has this podcast called Breaking Bread where he'll have like other comedians and whomever hop on and they probably just talk about, kind of like do what we do, but while
Yeah.
breaking bread. So I don't know, that might be up your alley. You could always check
I
that
like
out.
that. Yeah, I'll look it
Yeah.
up. I'm adding it right now. So does he like make the bread with them or like he already has the bread
I think
prepared?
it's already prepped. Yeah, it's
Okay.
already prepped. I think he has like a radio show on Sirius with XM. I think
Uh-huh.
he has like another thing on the side that I want to say is something like that. But
Okay.
he always has a loaf. Like when he does like a podcast tour, he's always gifting, like
Loaves
his
of
friends
bread.
and the host like a loaf of bread. Yeah,
I
and
love
like
that.
there's been times when they break it out and they're just like eating it while talking. I'm like, yo, when they're like describing it, like the hard exterior and then like the fluffiness inside. And I'm like, damn, like my wife is the bread queen, and but when I hear it, I'm like, damn, that shit sounds good. Like, mhm.
Yeah, you can hear the crust as they're
Yeah,
slicing it.
yeah, like it's like some ASMR shit, and I'm like, God,
Uh,
I'm gonna I'm gonna throw a freaking slice of white bread in the in the microwave oven just to hear that sound.
just to have the toast.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
that's funny. I'm trying to
man,
think how long a loaf of bread would last if I were to mail one. If it would still be fresh by the time it got to you.
I mean, I have no, well, I don't know, like people, well, would you have to put it in like one of those ice boxes or like something like that?
No, I
Not an
don't. I
ice
wouldn't have
box,
to
but
be
is there like a
cold.
a thing that keeps stuff warm that you can ship out?
No,
No?
you could just reheat it, but
That's true.
I don't
I've
know how
seen,
long shipping is
yeah,
from here to you. That's
I
probably at
don't
least
know.
5 days.
Yeah, I don't
Hmm.
know. I imagine there's gotta be something, right? Because they make those like foil things with like the interiors like foil, so it keeps
Oh
food.
yeah.
It's just, yeah, I don't know if you can like mail it out from wherever. I imagine, I mean, I just assume like you would just have to pay more for the shipping. Like if it's like a
That's true.
one day
Yes.
air or one day, yeah, it would
It
have to
would
be like,
definitely have to be like a 1 day delivery.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if you fucking think of doing something like that, you better let me know so I can reimburse you. But shit, if it's bread, I mean, we welcome it here in the Terado household.
Does your wife do sourdough?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Does she?
Yeah, sometimes she'll make a loaf. Her sister makes a loaf a lot, or quite often, I'll say. Um, yeah, like my wife used to make it sometimes. We have a bread maker too that she was very enthusiastic with for a bit. But yeah, I mean, she's Italian, dude. Like she's
She can't help it.
even if she had like some allergy, she'll just run through and be like,
Yeah,
whatever.
I
Yeah.
know I'm guilty of that. Like I usually like I'll know, okay, I had bread 2 days ago. If I eat some today, I'm probably gonna have a migraine tomorrow. Do I have plans tomorrow that a migraine is going to mess up? Or is it something that I can just handle and power through? Because the fresh baked bread, I mean, I don't know, nothing beats it.
Yeah, it's tough. Yeah, I agree. Shit.
Funny.
I'm thinking about like my first meal and I'm like, oh man, am I gonna have just talking about bread? I'll eat shitty bread. I just I have to. No. Um anyway, did you have fun today? Second
Of
round.
course.
Okay.
Yeah, I always have a blast talking to you, G.
Oh, man.
It helps
Absolutely.
when you have similar senses of humor and
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. You got a lot of laughs out of me and felt good, so I appreciate it. Would you mind saying one more time where people can follow you and if they want to check out, support your art and buy prints and all that good jazz, where they can do all that?
yeah, so all my artwork usually lives on Instagram. So that's Rhiannon underscore Dawes underscore art. And then my bakery and flower stand is Sweet Sparrow underscore Utah. Or I also do have a website. I don't know, I always forget that. Just rhiannondaws.com also is where my art lives.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know. You spend all this time to build the website and it's like it doesn't exist. It's fine.
no, I get it. It's a lot. It can be overwhelming, but yeah, definitely visit whether on social media or check out her website. Her website it's very nice, well put together,
Yeah,
very
I
professional
spent so
looking.
much time.
But it's really
Yes.
nice. And her shop is on there. So again, if you want to support her business, definitely check out her website to shop through. And if you want some bread or something,
If you're local in Davis County or Clinton, Utah, stop
ooh.
by the bakery stand.
For everyone else, if you've been tuning in up to this point, we appreciate your presence and really hope you enjoyed the conversations we had. Definitely check out the links. If you forgot all the plugs, you could always just check out the links. They will all be provided in the show description. And yeah, with that, please stay safe, stay healthy, and stay driven. And hopefully, we will catch you on the next one. Peace out, everybody.
Bye.